Hello, guys. I just want to sum up on a few things that's based on your answers that you've given me so far. So I guess you can call this some kind of general feedback, but it's also um, when I do this type of what can we call it, virtual teaching, it doesn't give me the possibility to ask you questions again so that you can perhaps deepen your answers a bit or explain them in details. So therefore, I'm trying to give you um, like facts about the analysis, so it will also help you when you read on. That's like the point of this feedback and also the previous one I gave you. I gave you an assignment about language at one point, about this, also about this comparison to Sherlock Holmes, where most of you just really got that the common thing, the thing that they have in common, Sherlock and Christopher, is how they're very concrete and go into details that other people don't notice. However, the language assignment that I gave you, it seemed that you had a bit of difficulty about that. Most of you talked about how it was a really difficult language, this old type of language that Christopher doesn't like. The point of the assignment was actually that the old kind of language that he doesn't like, that it's filled with metaphors and comparisons. That's also what we call figurative language or billedsprog in Danish. And it's a type of language that gives you some kind of added understanding of things. It's something that isn't concrete. A typical comparison is like this love comparison. Your eyes are as beautiful as the sun or something like that. Then you have to imagine a sun in your mind to see how beautiful these eyes are. And it's something that Christopher simply doesn't get, because he would say, well, the sun isn't beautiful. So, and the eyes are just eyes. There isn't anything about the sun in the eyes. So he wouldn't understand that kind of added information, which is also why he doesn't like the old language. It's not that he finds it difficult in the perspective that the words are tricky. It's that the fact that he doesn't get it because it has an added meaning to it, because it's not concrete. The interesting thing, however, is that he has the ability to reflect on his own thoughts. He knows that he's not capable of doing that. So that's also something that's relevant in understanding Christopher. The second thing that I just wanted to talk about is that now you've read until chapter 173, or you've also read that chapter. So now you've been introduced, or you've read two huge climaxes in this novel, which is the fact that the father lied to Christopher about his mother being in hospital. It's when he reads the letters from his mother that his father has also kept from him. And the second part is that his father is actually the murderer of the dog. Um, so, um, so the way that we understand this is that it's all written as a first-person narration. We have Christopher as the first-person narrator, and that kind of gives us an insight in his mind, which is the positive thing about a first-person narration. We get an insight, a view into a character's mind that we wouldn't have otherwise. The bad part is that we only get his perspective. And when we have a character as Christopher, who's perhaps flawed in the way that he understands the world, then we have to pay very much attention to how other people react. They tell us, the other characters in the book, they tell us all the information that Christopher isn't capable of. So their reactions are very important for us. It's also a bit what I talked about in the last feedback thing I did for you. But there is this, when we talk about a first person narrator, you have to think about whether or not he's reliable. There is this literary term that's called an unreliable narrator, and it gives us it makes us think about whether or not we can trust him. And the fact that Christopher doesn't lie, tells us that we can trust him. We can trust that what he tells us is the truth. But the added information, the information we get from how people normally communicate, what people normally perceive. When I talk to a person, I see how they react to what I'm saying. Are they laughing? Are they sad? All of these different moods that we can read in faces, and how are you standing? Are you on your way away from me, or are you interested in what I'm saying? All of these is something that Christopher simply doesn't see. So that's the part that where we can say that we can't really trust him. However, when this is how the story is structured, we also have to think about what is the consequence for the novel or the narration. And the fact that we have to, as a reader, we have to look for clues that gives us this added information. It kind of makes us the detective also, where we have Christopher being the detective of the novel, then it also makes us a detective for what is the complete truth in this. So that's also why I think this, even though we can see that it's a YA novel, and for teenagers, it has some kind of depth to its interpretation as well. Yeah, so I've also sent you the material for the next few lessons, and you will not be reading much further on, but you will be working with these climax moments here. Yeah. So I'll tell you about that in another PowerPoint. Hi.